That was there between the people of Central Kenya, Mount Kenya region generally, and the BBI proponents was the idea that they will incorporate in BBI one man, one shilling concept. Now that the proposed formula for sharing revenue has incorporated that concept, if they don't agree to it now, then it goes without saying, then our bargain will have been taken away. There will be no need for us to support BBI because BBI is one man, one shilling concept is embedded there. So this formula does the same. So I thought, support the formula, support BBI. If you don't support the BBI, then you also do away with the formula. For a very long time, counties in that region, they have not been receiving their equitable share of county revenue. We have seen a situation where a county like Kiambu County, it has a huge population, almost 3 million residents there, but it receives about 8 billion. So a governor for Kiambu is unable to build infrastructure, roads, water, ECD, also various entities which are provided for under devolved functions of the county. And more often than not, that explains why you find politics in that region for gubernatorial position is high octane, high turnover, because you cannot be able to satisfy the demands of the people with the kind of little money that is being sent to ensure the so-called marginalized counties continue receiving more support from the center. But this formula is not really doing away with the whole notion of trying to assist those counties. Take, for instance, what we call per capita devolved cash. Counties in the northern region, in coastal region, they'll still be getting about 15,000 Kenya shillings per capita share of the national devolved funds. And Kiambu will only be moving from about 3,000 to about 4,000. And number two, we also have what we call equalization fund. There's a small dispute in Parliament. Once that is done, billions of shillings will be sent to the entire northern and also coastal region. But also number three, which is very important, it is not true that once this formula is passed, there will be counties that are going to lose money. No county is going to lose money. Why? Because in the committee's report, it says, pass the formula, but effective date is next year. And by the time we are meeting next year, we shall have devoted 35% of the national revenue. So no county loses money this financial year. By next year, we have BBI that we hope will have provided that 5% of the national revenue has been devolved. And therefore, no county is going to lose money at all.
Okay,
and also, most importantly, it is not true that this formula is favoring central counties. It is not true. Take from number 1 to number 10. We only have one county from Central Kenya among the top, so-called top gainers. Vast majority of those counties are either in Rift Valley or Western or in Nyanza. What we call central counties, they are about number 15, number 16. In fact, Murang'a, for instance, is what we call a marginal county.
Fortunate to hear the majority whip bringing the talk of BBI and equating it to the issue of revenue share. BBI is greater than revenue, and in fact, the people who are supposed to gain with the BBI is really them. Because if I can take him back, if it was not for the magnanimous nature of Raila Amolo Odinga, we would not be talking about Handshake. So he's not qualified whatsoever to talk about Handshake. I think the people who are qualified to discuss about Handshake is His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. Now on the issue of revenue, what Senator Kangata is not telling you is that what he's pushing for is a punishment of counties which are large in numbers, in sizes. Particularly if you look at the issue, what they're doing is that they're saying, if you have a big chunk of land and you have a lot of mass in land, we want to reduce it into a square root. This is something that has never been done anywhere in the world. And I think it is good for us to be honest to Kenyans. We, in the NASA coalition and also the majority of the people who also include members of the Jubilee coalition, are not the ones who have been postponing this vote on this formula. It is actually them. It is Senator Kangata who has been pushing for that. So it is rather unfortunate. And it is important for Kenyans to know what it is that we're actually fighting. Because sometimes the way people talk, they confuse everything. The issue is very clear. We are not discussing the issue of per capita because you cannot compare Lamu, which has a very small population, with Kiambu or with Narok. The issue here is looking at what the Constitution say under Article 203, Article 217, and Article 219 in terms of the issue of division of revenue. 217 is very clear. Every 5 years, the Senate must come up with a formula, and they must take into consideration the formula proposed by the Commission of Revenue Allocation, which is a constitutional body mandated to carry out research, put statistics in place and ensure that they advise us, they recommend a way in which we can be able to divide the revenue. We have been given a new formula with new parameters, and people need to be honest with each other. What CRA has done is something which is going to help this country. CRA developed different weights in different parameters on how money can be divided. One is population, which they gave a weight of 18%. The other one is health, they gave a weight of 17%. The other one is agriculture, they gave it a weight of 12%. In fact, in looking at health and agriculture, CRA looked at other international treaties that we as a country have signed on to. Like if you look at the Abuja Declaration on health, how much of that money should be given to the counties? So the stalemate we are in at the moment can only be resolved if we say, let us maintain the status quo, let us ensure that counties, what counties got last year, which the year ended in June 30th, what counties got last year? Until we have more money, let us continue getting that money. Narok County received 8 billion shillings. Let us continue receiving that money. Because one thing,
yes,
Mashirima, is that, change is the only thing which is constant. We cannot run away from the fact that we now have new data. But we cannot also be naive to realize we don't have a lot of money. Let me finish this point, which is very clear.
Senator Ledama, I'm sorry I have to cut you short for a bit. Because I want us to move really quickly. Not much time on our side. ODM is equally accused of using this process as a dangling carrot to, of course, get plum jobs in government. What do you say to that?
That's ridiculous. We are not talking about the issue of revenue and bringing up the issues of the handshake. What we are discussing here is the issue of ensuring equitable distribution of resources in this country, as per Article 203 of the Constitution. When you hear somebody saying, you cannot come in and now start saying you want to blackmail us or you want to use ODM for, because ODM has been magnanimous in maintaining peace in this country. What we are is for us to be honorable. We are doing our job. We have to care about every single person in this country.
All right.
A person in Kiambu is no more of a person than a person who lives in Garissa. You cannot justify taking over 2 billion shillings from people of Garissa. In summary, it is important for us to realize two things. One, county governments carried out their budgets. You cannot disrupt them. You cannot now tell me at Narok you will lose 1 billion shillings. What will I go and tell the people of Narok that I've been doing in the Senate? So the truth of the matter is this. We are meeting Tuesday and we are going to pass. I have amendments. The Kaja has amendment. Mutula Kilonzo have amendment because we cannot allow a square root formula to be used where capping land at 5% and ensuring it that they use a square root. We cannot allow that to happen. So what if Kangata is ready for us to be in this country, they must accept that over the last 50 years, in terms of development, it has only been going to the following the railway line. Other countries like Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, Turkana, Narok, Samburu are also Kenyans. We cannot divide this country, and we cannot allow some, thinking that we are going to peg this on BBI. That's nonsense. We want.
Let's bring in Senator Kangata. You've raised some points, and he talks about Tuesday. They're bringing in amendments. He has an amendment. We have another one for Sakaja and Mutula. Senator Kangata, you say as a majority whip, you say there'll be no more adjournments. Does it mean that you're ready to consider some of these amendments by senators on the floor of the House?
First, allow me to respond to Senator Olekina. We seem to be talking from the same page. Number one, he is endorsing CRA formula. I endorse it. I support it. Two, you have brought the idea of new amendments, which have been brought by Motula, by himself, by Sakaja. To me, that's where we are having problem. These amendments have not been subjected to CRA recommendations. These proposals have not been endorsed by governors. That is contrary to Article 217 of the Constitution, Sub-Article 2, because that clause says all those proposals should have gone to CRA, to governors, to Council of Governors, all those key stakeholders, to professional bodies' input. So I agree with you, my brother from Narok. Let us support CRA recommendation. I support it. Number two, there is the idea concerning that he is saying we should not allow any county to lose money this year because there will be disruptions. I support it 100%. I agree. That is why we told the committee to come up with a proposal, a proviso in their report and say effective date of this formula will be next year, 2021, not this year, so that we maintain status quo this year. Then why not support the proposal? Number three, he says he supports BBI. Good, I support BBI. We want BBI to pass. We devolve more funds this year. After that, there will be no single county that is going to lose money. Then why oppose the proposal?
So when we talk about maintaining status quo until the next financial year, are we not then postponing a problem? We'll still have to deal with it at some point.
You can come up with a law, whichever law, but you say effective date is not today, it is after 1 year or 2 years. So simply, the proposal in the report is pass the formula, but the effective date is next year. Why? So that no single county loses money this year. There are no disruptions in county budgets. And for me, we are speaking on the same page with my brother from Narok. Then he says, for instance, we should ensure we devolve more funds to the counties. I agree. That is the whole idea of BBI. That is, so for me, I'm not so sure. It's not very clear why my brothers are opposed to what the committee is saying.
Senator Ledama,
can I conclude?
Yes, conclude so that I can have him respond to that.
The original idea by the committee was to apply the formula immediately. We said no, that's very unfair. We gave it a 1 year effective date. The idea that our brothers from Northeastern, from Coastal, have been discriminated for long, they need to be supported. Again, the government support that position. That is why we have brought the idea of equalization fund. It is in the Constitution. We are ready to implement it. Two, even this formula, when you look at per capita share of county revenue, it remains more in Wajir, in Mandera, in Mombasa, in Tana River, as compared to a place like Kiambu, as compared to a place like Nandi, as compared to a place like Kisumu.
Right.
You find, even under the new formula, per capita share in Kisumu is about 3,000, 4,000 per person. In Mandera, it remains about 15,000.
I'd like Senator Ledama to respond to that. You've raised a number of issues. And of course, I'd ask, because you're both senators here, and this is a house that prides itself in being the buffer zone to protect the interests of the counties, why have we been unable to reach a consensus on this issue 5 sessions later? Senator Ledama.
Can I just respond first of all? Because it's important for Kangata, who is a lawyer of high repute in this country, not to misread the Constitution or misinterpret it. Article 217(2) does not say that when the Senate bring in any amendments, they have to go in and consult. You know, the committee carries out its work. It has already consulted the cabinet secretary. It has already taken into consideration what the cabinet secretary is talking about. It has already taken the consideration on what the CRA body has recommended. What we are doing on the floor of the House, they submit their report on the floor of the House. Now in plenary, we as 47 senators, delegations, now sit down and say, do we agree on the committee? If we agree on the committee, we adopt the committee report. But if we do not agree with the committee, we either kill that report or we bring in amendment. Our standing orders are very clear. Any senator can bring amendments at any time, you know, before the matter is put into a vote. And what is also very important for people to understand is that we have got no problem in maintaining the status quo. What we are saying is this: we do not want a county to receive less revenue than they received last year. Now, the tricky part is when Senator Kangata and the committee report comes in and say, use these weights, you know, use 22% in terms of health. And what he's not telling Kenyans is that the government policy, the Ministry of Health policy on health discriminates more counties, because for instance, for Narok, for us in Narok to be able to build a dispensary, we must have 5 people in one area. So if you bring in, if Kangata is saying, Senator Lekina, agree, let us maintain the status quo for 1 year, and then last year, let us review what we can be able to do, but on the on how much money the counties got last year, they continue getting that money. In fact, I'll refer him back to Article 217, subsection 8, where we are given the powers as the Senate to review that proposal with passing with a 2/3. I would then agree with him and say, fair enough, our counties will get, but let us use these weights. Let us maintain population at 18%. Let us take health at 17%. You know, let us look at agriculture at 10%.
Right.
You know, let us land at 7%, so that we don't take money away from the people of Marsabit.
So
Marsabit is losing about 1 billion. Garissa is losing about 2 billion. Isiolo, a small county, is losing about 900 million. Narok is about to lose about 1 billion. So we have to be honest with each other. So the only way we can be able to agree with our brothers, from the areas which we are gaining, is first of all, is when we throw away that argument that a county should lose and another should gain. That is issue number 1. Number 2, the only way we can be able to agree is if we agree that every county, whatever Narok County got this year, Narok County will continue getting that amount of money until the time we can be able to raise more revenue. Because, Mashurima, if we have 400 billion and we utilize the weights as per proposed by the CRA, no county will lose any money. We will continue that way.
Senator Ledama, I have to wind up, but quickly. So then, are you confident the amendments will make any change or help this conversation come Tuesday?
Absolutely. I think this country will be in a better place because it will be one country under one board, okay? A country that cannot be divided.
Thank you.
When we meet that we are all different, we accept the recommendations which are being brought by, we amend them as per the calculation simulation that have been done, but we maintain one base.
Right. Thank you very much.
219.
Thank you, Senator Ledama. Let's quickly get the parting shot here. We're running out of time from Senator Kangata. Senator Ledama says he's confident that we will be able to review some of these amendments from a number of senators on the Senate. I think about 3 or 4 of them. What are we likely to see? There seems to be a semblance of grandstanding. Are you open to some of these ideas? And what's the president saying?
The idea of supporting counties that have been traditionally marginalized is a very positive idea. It has been embedded in the third generation formula. Counties like Isiolo, Marsabit, Tana River, Mandera, Wajir, they will still continue getting more money per person as compared to the so-called places like Nairobi, places like Kisumu, places like Kiambu and Murang'a. That's number 1. 2, the idea that we shall have counties that are going to lose this year or even any year is not true. No single county is going to lose. In fact, I have seen some computation in the media. Those are erroneous. That's erroneous information.
Right.
Why? For 2 reasons. And the president has said this very clearly.
Okay.
1, effective date is not this year. You've passed the formula, but it starts to work next year.
Okay.
Number 2, we shall devolve 35%.
We'll have to wind up. I'll have to wind up. Thank you very much, Senator.